Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, collectors of all ages, it is Aussieverse, and we are back, proudly sponsored by Comic Bookaroo. And today we have the legend himself, Brian Haberlin, the man behind such classics as Witchblade and many, many more. But today we are here to discuss his current Kickstarter, which is all about the Aria Omnibus. And we are very, very excited and humbled to have him on the show today. Brian, thank you so much for coming here.
Thank you guys for having me. Thank you.
It's an absolute pleasure. Steve normally doesn't clap for guests, so
no,
very excited that you're here. We're reading Witchblade. We're still going through it all. We're very, very happy and excited. Mate, you have a huge, huge career behind you. And I've got to admit, I think you're one of the best artists I've ever seen. It's just absolutely incredible.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Is it late night for you at the moment? What time is it?
It's 7 o'clock in the evening.
Oh, okay. That's not so bad then.
No,
that's manageable.
Yeah. What time is it there?
I'm just gone 12 o'clock midday Sunday.
Oh,
okay. Yep.
We're not to Sunday yet here. You guys are ahead.
That's
You're
correct.
Sunday,
Yeah.
I'm Saturday. So, you know.
That's right.
You want to know what happens at 10 o'clock?
Yeah.
We're in the future.
Is there something I can place a bet on?
These are the lotto numbers, Brian. Write them down.
So, Brian, we'll ask a couple of questions before taking a look at this Kickstarter. But the one thing, if you don't mind me asking you just a couple of questions outside of that, just to pick your brain a little. I'm just very curious when it comes to somebody of your caliber and skill level, what actually inspired you to become a comic book artist and writer and colorist and all of these things?
Well, basically, when I was growing up, so we're talking about, I graduated high school in 1981. And so if you wanted to do science fiction and fantasy stuff, the only place to do it were paperback book covers or comic books. And because there was no, Star Wars, you weren't going to, there was nobody pulling you into, like happens these days, into video games or into movies and television, because they basically couldn't really, there was Star Wars, but no one else could really pull off the high-end fantasy kind of stuff then. So the career path, if you wanted to do this stuff, it was comic books. If you wanted to draw some muscles and you wanted to, do some fantasy stuff, that's where you went. And I was blessed in high school with friends that, and my co-creator of Aria, Brian Haberlin, but his older brother Kevin and my friend Kirk, when I was 16, they were the ones who introduced me to comics for the first time, and they cherry picked the best stuff. So it was, Jim Starlin's Warlock, Anna Morlock stuff. It was, the John Buscema, Tom Palmer Avengers stuff that they had in their collections. They introduced me to Gil Kane. Actually got to meet Gil a couple of times. And then I still always remember, it's like, okay, what else you got? They kept feeding me all the good stuff, right? What else you got? Well, there's this one that's happening now, and it's Daredevil. And what's that about? It's this blind lawyer who fights crime at night. I'm thinking, oh, that can't be any good. And it was the beginning of Frank Miller's run on Daredevil, so it was spectacular, But I was like, yep, I'm in, I'm hooked. And then the first, I went to the very first San Diego Comic-Con at the El Cortez Hotel when I was a teen. But then I remember, like, the second one was in the old convention center before it was in the massive convention center it's in now. Artist Alley was basically John Byrne in the middle of his X-Men run. Sitting next to him was Chris Claremont with typewriter in front of him. On the other side of him was George Perez in the middle of his Avengers run. On the other side of him was Terry Austin, legendary inker. And we had the new kid who I'm blessed to say he's a friend now, just started his first Marvel previews work, Bill Sienkiewicz.
Wow.
And they were singing and they were laughing and they were drawing for people. It's like, I want to do that for a living. That looks really good. Then I always have to say with the caveat, the next year I came back, John had gained like 20 pounds. George had gained about 20 pounds. Bill had lost a bunch of hair. I was like, maybe I don't want to do that for a living. But I went down that rabbit hole anyway.
So then going from the start of your career to where you are right now, what would be some advice that you would give to aspiring comic book creators trying to break into the industry?
Well, it's the same one that I give to all artists. Is basically if I was a professional athlete, my career would have been over in my 20s. Okay. If as an artist and you decide you're going to keep, because I had my first job offered to pencil at Marvel when I was 18, but it was moving to Manhattan. I'm a West Coast United States guy. And it was $35 a page. And, because there was no internet back then, you're not sending files back and forth. You had to move to Manhattan, $35. And it's like, and they wouldn't guarantee you work once you got out there. And so it's like, yeah, I'm going to go to film school. So I have a master's degree in screenwriting and communication arts. And my first jobs were at Lorimar Television, which was one of the biggest television studios that there was in comedy and drama series development. But I always wanted to do comics again, and I kept developing these new computer techniques for doing them and all that kind of stuff. And 92, going down to San Diego Comic-Con, 91 going down, getting rejected, 92 going down, getting rejected. 93, my friend Rod Underhill said, hey, I'm gonna have a booth in the small press area. Do you want to join me? I said, sounds great. It's like, and I had a CRT monitor that was about that wide and about that deep and probably weighed about 150 pounds. I had a CG animated Spawn that I had on him, animated. And I had this big inkjet print of a Green Lantern with a CG modeled power battery behind him and CG big green glowing power wings behind him. And everybody and their mother offered me work. So it was a complete flip of stuff. But getting back to your point was if you can keep interested in this stuff, because I also teach at Minneapolis College of Art and Design here as well. It's one of the few places here that has a comic track as well. If you keep the interest and you keep working at this stuff, you can keep getting better, as opposed to, like I was saying, a professional athlete where your career is over in your 20s. For me, I can kick my artistic ass when I was 20. I can kick my artistic ass when I was 30. I can kick my artistic ass when I was 40. I can kick my artistic ass when I was 50. I'm in my 60s now. So that's one of the things that's encouraging, I think, because even if you're not ready coming out of, like, I always tell young artists, like, don't grab that first art job that's a crappy art. Like, you're going to do textures for some computer game company all day, right? You're going to come home at the end of the day. You're not going to want to draw anything. You're not going to want to work on your own stuff. Take the office job. Take the thing that's got health care. Take the thing that's going to, take care of whatever. And then when you come home, you're going to be working on your stuff. You're going to be working on getting better. And so that's I think that's a key advice to young artists, is that this is a path that even if you're not ready now or you're getting shit on right now for the quality of your work or whatever, you can get better. It's got to be when the bread is ready. It's got to be, has the yeast risen enough? That kind of stuff.
And at what point? At what point did you feel that your work had the yeast had risen enough that you had something to show the general public?
Well, I mean, you never really know, because you can get still rejected when that's always one of the hard things too when you're doing like portfolio reviews. It's like you have kids coming in, and it's like that kid is the best artist in his high school. He is the best artist, maybe even in his town, right? And it's not good enough to break in. You have to be even better than that. And I don't think there's ever a point where you can hope that you're good enough to get in, but I didn't want to start as a colorist. that was not my thing, but I figured that was the end when Mark Silvestri offered me to start Top Cal's coloring department. So it's like, okay, I figure that's the end. and stuff. But the problem for me was I got to the top of the pyramid so fast that it became kind of a velvet coffin, because back then there was a lot of money in that, you know.
Right.
I used to get paid as high as like $400 a page to color a comic book, you know,
Wow.
or more. And that doesn't exist. But it was like, you know, that's what they want you to do. It's like, you know, okay, you're good at that, you do that, you know. So it took a while for me to break out, and as a creator and a writer, you know, eventually I got to co-create Witchblade there and other things. But you know, it takes you a while to break that. It's like I was telling someone the other day, I did because when I launched my own studio, not the old one, but the Anomaly in 2010, or not 2010, in 2010, 15 years ago. Yeah, 2011, let's say 2012. I did the math on how many sequential pages I've done over that period of time. And I've done 2,759 interior pages.
Wow.
Not bad. Not bad.
Wow.
I was gonna say, I think it is a fascinating decision that you made at such a young age to reject Marvel and follow something else. That takes a lot of balls and brains, I think, and it's obviously worked in your favor. So well done.
Oh yeah, I don't always will chime about create our own. I mean, you have things that just it's because it's yours, and it can pay you dividends. I mean, as we can just see now, it's like co-created Aria back in '99, right? And now we have a Kickstarter that's up to $100,000 on it. Yeah, it's like, okay, that's good. That's not that bad. All right, people like what you do.
Well,
that's nice.
Speaking of that Kickstarter, let's have a look, because on our end it's going to be in Australian dollars, so it's going to be a lot higher.
Always looks better in Aussie dollars, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah, let's have a look. And it was funded in under 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Well
And it was
done.
funny. And it was funny because it was mistake launch. It was supposed to launch on the Tuesday, because that's what the powers that be say is the best time to launch, Tuesday, for some reason, not a Kickstarter. And we were tweaking, you know, the page stuff, and early on Monday, one of the guys was saying, "Oh, well, you really should make sure you get it in for approvals, because they could take time sometimes with them." And I've done apps and stuff with Apple and stuff, and I know how long it takes to get approved sometimes. So I was like, "Oh shit!" And okay, I better do it. And I hit the launch button instead of the. And so I was thinking, oh man. I mean, I wasn't worried about doing okay, but you know, a lot of it is about that saying that how quickly it's funded. And I thought, since all our ducks weren't in a row, it's like, oh shit, I just screwed that, right? And it's like, no, half hour, okay. All right, that worked. Thank you all. Yeah,
That's amazing. Hey, Brian, just a quick question for you in regards to the character Aria and Kildare. Sorry.
Yeah.
How much sort of into fairy lore and things did you do research to create the character, or is it sort of all just it's come from you?
Well, you know, again, my buddy, you know, who Brian Haberlin, you know, who I've known since high school, and Brian, I mean, basically, when I was starting Avalon Studios, which is where Aria came out of, and that was with Will Spartasio. That was my first comic company that I created, and we had Stone, The Wicked, Hellcop, and Aria. And Brian Holguin and I, when we were going to create Aria, we were deciding, and I knew, because I wanted kind of tent poles when we started these things, so I wanted different genres. I wanted Stone was our superhero book, The Wicked was our horror book, Hellcop was our sci-fi book, and I wanted our fantasy book. And Brian and I were basically saying, we want to do our Doctor Strange. And that was the initial thing. And at that launch, I sketched out the first drawing of Kildare and the Pug. But back then, Kildare was going to be a guy. And then we changed. But and I didn't have the chops, like we were saying about getting better as an artist. I didn't have the chops to do a book back then. I could do covers and pinups and yada 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 and handle production and do pretty colors, but I couldn't do that. So we had to go out and find somebody good, and we had some top artists at the time that were kind of in the mix. But then we discovered Jay Anacleto, and it became no question at all. But going back to your point, Brian Haberlin, I put him up there with Neil Gaiman, Alan Moore, all that stuff. And Brian is one of those guys who reads Chaucer and understands it. He's so well read with that fantasy, and he has that great urban fantasy thing. So I give Brian, a huge amount of credit on that stuff.
I wonder how many Australians accidentally stumble across this Kickstarter when they're typing in Aria, because in Australia, that is the awards for our music industry, the Aria Awards.
Mm.
Let's have a look here.
This is better, though.
What was that?
This is better than our music industry awards, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's right. We love our collected editions here at Aussieverse, and we cannot wait to get that on our shelf.
And at 600 over pages, it's just
over 600 pages. Every single appearance, even the 2 guest appearances that Pug and Kildare did on the Marked comic, those are in there. We have 4 mini stories that will be coming out. It will be Jay Anacleto's first sequential work in many years. We have Lan Medina, who is the artist who was starting on Fables, who was also one of our Aria artists. He's going to do a 3-pager. We have Roy Alan Martinez from the original series. He's doing a 3-pager, and I'm going to do a 3-pager art myself too. So it's going to have new material as well, which I think is really fun about it.
So, Brian, a question from Matt, one of our regulars, mate. How many issues are actually included?
A bunch.
Good answer.
Basically, it's every single trade, every single collection, because we did multiples from the Soul Market to different, Midwinter's Dream, all these different, after the initial, there were always these contained arcs. So if we bring back down, 600 pages, it's got to be, God, 30, about 30 issues worth of stuff. Yeah. And it's everything. It is every single appearance, every single thing that there is.
One of the things that attracted me to this campaign, apart from the actual obvious being the Aria Omnibus, was how much you've included potentially that you can buy and that comes with it automatically. So, for example, the first thing that you see here is every book is coming signed. Now, in my experience, usually you have to pay extra for that. Yeah. So that's already a great bonus. Now, if you continue here, you can see that I've backed it as well. I've got some, where was it? Hang on, let's go through this way. So it's the full epic, as Brian has said, every single appearance, every single issue. It's obviously a hardcover as well. It's not a trade paperback for those that care about that sort of stuff. Plus, let's take a look here. Here we go. All of this is included inside, including the swimsuit issue, which I'm I'm very, very happy about as well. Plus new issues as well.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. New mini issues. They're all going to they're all fun, and they're kind of all these little parable kind of things, but they all most of them revolve around what happens in her store, because she has this, magic / occult sort of store in Manhattan, and what happens when the sign is flipped from open to close. What happens when it just closes. Some very fun stuff, harkening back to the original series and other stuff. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But I really enjoy reading this. This was our introduction from the very first comic. Do you guys mind if I read it real quick?
Not at all.
I think it sets the tone really well for, if people don't know what Aria is, kind of the vibe for it. So this is from the introduction from the very first book. Sometimes I look at this world and it moves me to tears. The joy and terror and the mad, bloody drama of it all. And I wonder why they never seem to really see it. Maybe one lifetime isn't enough, or maybe it's too much. I can't say. But the truth, to be perfectly plain, is that people are looking for magic in all the wrong places. And then that's basically a quote from Kildare. And then our next bit is the introduction. Somewhere around the corner, just beyond the edge of perception, lies a world you never dreamed existed. A world where creatures from ancient myth and gods long thought dead walk unnoticed among the crowded streets of Manhattan. Where ladies of fairy dance lonely nights away bathed in soft neon glare. Where every shadow holds a secret and every secret has a price. Where danger and wonder can be found at any turn if you only know where to look for it. Aria.
That's cool. I love that whole sort of modern and mysticism combined sort of thing. It's really, really cool.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, again, hats off to my co-creator, Brian Haberlin. He'd be tremendous with that stuff.
It also comes with spot varnish, treated cover, a slipcase, which I am all about, and a ribbon, which we know Sharif is all about. So,
and sewn binding.
Fantastic. Yes. Here we go. Now, I was looking at these extras as well, man, and these are incredible, right? Usually when you get cards in Kickstarters, they are not to the degree that you're releasing here. So these aren't the only cards. So first off, you've got the holographic cards, right? And hang on. So hang on. There you go. Show us again. Beautiful.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, we got those.
Then we also have the original comic run bundle, having, in case you're hunting down a specific issue. And
from my collection.
From your collection. Okay.
Wow. Yeah.
Now, how many 3D printers do you own? Because I did hear you say this earlier.
I have about 8.
And look at that.
Isn't that stunning?
Yeah, man. That is gorgeous.
Oh, that's a good size.
I was just about to say the same thing, Sharif. That's a really good size.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
No, thank you.
Love that. 3D printed relief sculpt featuring Kildare.
And then also painted by me.
Oh, okay. The museum print 13 by 19. Look at that.
G-clay printed work.
Wow. Watercolor paintings.
Wow. Yeah, I have. My fine art career has kind of been blowing up lately. So I include sorts of like.
Look at that!
Wow.
Man,
They
that's
are
fantastic.
stunning.
Stunning, yeah.
So I have 10 of these currently, but we probably will be adding some more at the end of the day with how things are going, you know.
Yeah. These are the ones that really interested me personally, these art cards, because I was telling the guys, usually sketch cards are a sketch on a card where
Jana Clayto's stuff is a completely different level.
It's incredible. This is so much more than just a sketch. This is like full-on art.
Yeah.
Mm.
Absolutely amazing. How does it feel to be able to see all your work on this character collected in such a complete and beautiful edition? From the hours of drawing a single panel and page to this epic book.
Well, again, it's a little different because, you know, I wasn't really ready to do sequential. So almost all the art, I mean, besides coloring and maybe a cover or two, is all done by somebody else in this, except for my 2 issues of the Marked that'll be in there. And then my 3-pager that'll be on, because when we were doing this, my skills weren't there ready yet. I didn't start, you know, my first book that I took over sequentially was Spawn. And God, what was that now? 2015, I guess, or something like that. So yeah, these were all done prior to that. I wasn't ready yet. But yeah, it's but it's wonderful, and it's, you know, and going back and seeing things that you've never seen before. But it's also, whenever you look at anything that's I mean, I have some of my artwork up back here now, but normally I don't, because I get too critical of it. Like, oh, I'll see like immediately, you know, oh yeah, that's terrible. And even when looking through this thing, if I have to do this to keep myself from recoloring things in this, you know, that is, oh yeah, I wouldn't do that now, you know. It's like no, not that. But no, it's and the reaction I'm getting from people. I mean, this was the 2nd highest selling comic book in the United States when it debuted.
Oh wow!
We beat every single DC Comics title. We only lost out to X-Men at Marvel and beat everything else that there was.
Huge.
We had people who, there's probably at least 12 kids named Aria back then that I've met their parents at shows back in the day.
That's incredible.
I mean, it's funny too, because you get the kind of the hubris thing. It's like, you know, because, you know, co-created Witchblade, that did great, you know, did this, that did, yeah, top 10 books, that's easy. Here, I got another one for you right here. Yeah, so it's funny because you like think like, oh yeah, no problem, you can hit it out of the park every time, right? Every time. But no, no, she did great, and really, I think this is probably going to lead me to continuing her stories myself.
Oh wow! Okay.
Cool.
We then have the tier that Steve is the most excited about. The San Diego Comic Con.
You mean coming and being our booth help?
Oh,
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Steve would be there in a heartbeat.
We'll only make you go get coffee once, but you know.
How many coffees do you want?
Here, I'll give you an odd factoid. I remember when he gave me a quote on some book, and Bill Sikevich gave me some nice quote on some book there, and I was at some show. I want to say it was like Chicago C2E2, and I go, oh, let me go get you something you want to drink. You want a coffee? He's like, I'll take a coffee. My coffee requests are a little weird. It's like, okay, well, what is it? He's like, 5 shots of decaf espresso.
What?
Okay. That's what you want. Because I was in Europe for a long time. I really like that kind of dark dry, but I can't have the caffeine. So it's okay. All right. 5 shots of decaf espresso. No problem.
I love this piece.
Yeah, it's Celine. Celine came out of. She was in the story with Kildare and Pug in my Marked series, the Marked, and so now she's part of their crew now, essentially.
That is
God, I just love the details in those pencils.
it's stunning.
Very tight, yeah.
Oh,
look at this as well. So all of this you can purchase.
Yeah. Well, they're all gone now, I think, but we will probably add. We'll probably add. Yeah, I think all the original art is gone already.
Wow. This is incredible.
Yeah, look at it.
Yeah, again, his this is the original of that one.
Oh boy.
At that size. Oof.
Wow.
And it's all just pencil. Just a pencil.
Spot on, KJB. This is bloody awesome artwork.
I reckon my partner is watching this and she's in awe. She's an artist as well.
Yeah. Jay's something else.
Now, this is I actually added this to mine because I know that Claudia would really like this. An Aria claw ring. Look at that. Yeah. That is fantastic. See, I knew it. There you go. There she is. So yes, Claudia, you'll be getting this. I'll get the book. You can have the claw ring.
And it allows you to do one spell. We've thrown enough mana in it to let you do one spell out of it.
There you go.
So you gotta be careful. You don't want to screw up that one spell.
And the other one that I added, because again I saw this on the last interview that you were on, was the lithophane. That, man, these look incredible when you shine that light.
I can live demo that right now. So these are 3D printed off. This is the original, or this is the Kickstarter cover, and then so you throw light behind it.
Oh,
Keep screwing it up.
Oh wow!
You haven't seen it yet. Oh, how is that done?
Yeah, how?
Is it just the
playing light behind it, or you put it up like on a window, or however you want?
Is it just the different thickness of the material?
Yep.
Right.
That is awesome.
Oh, this is so different than all the other stuff that we've seen.
Exactly, which is why everybody should be backing this. Even if you didn't want the omnibus, look at all the extras you can get that are so cool. It's incredible.
Yeah, I'm a bit of the kind of mad inventor of the comic book industry too.
First of a kind that Matt has seen. And KJB's loving it as well.
Yeah, so we have the bust that we did. And we have it in two flavors. So one that we'll paint in patina, or you can get it in a plain, unpainted gray, and then paint it and do whatever you want with it.
Steve, you can paint one of those.
Yeah, I was going to say, Steve, you like to paint.
I do.
There you go. Wow.
And what's cool too about a lot of this stuff is this is all Kickstarter exclusive. I'm not taking these to shows afterwards or anything like that. This is the place to get them. Yeah.
Well, that's a good point. Is the omnibus going to be available after the Kickstarter elsewhere?
Yes, it will go out through regular retail channels too, but it will be a different cover.
Okay. Plus, you can't get all of this awesome stuff.
And you won't get all. Yeah, you can't get all this stuff.
Mm.
Yeah. Man.
And then we have a bunch of the books that I have pulled from my collection that I've had. So we have like original #1s, original rare comics that we have as well.
Holographic cover from Wills Batasio. I just met him last year. He came to Australia, the Comic-Con.
He's a nice guy.
Very nice, very nice. Dazzling.
This is amazing. I've never seen a Kickstarter like this before. This is really, really different, and it's bloody brilliant.
No, thank you. No, I definitely try to get people value for their dollar.
Oh, 100%.
That's always my thought.
the art of Jay Ensoletto as well. That's great. A rare original art book. Man, I might have to add that one too. You can get an original promotional poster.
Yep.
Whoa. Holy moly, look at that.
How big is this?
About 24 by 30.
Ooh.
Yep, 24 by 36. There you go.
That was the original posters. We have 100 left from 1999. So it's partying like 1999 on that one.
There you go. Our regulars are just loving this.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So how does this make you feel having such a successful campaign so quickly?
It feels great. Again, because part of it is also the idea of on the business side, kind of building Kickstarter as our pipeline for doing a lot of this stuff. And I'm blessed that I have such a good relationship with Image Comics that I could do a Kickstarter and then also do that. And that really helps. I mean, the comic industry is not doing the best that it's ever done these days, so it's nice to have two kind of things going on. And also the ability to go direct to your consumers is great. But I still, have my love of my retailer partners that I've had over decades of being with them. So they're always going to get some sort of version of it, and stuff.
Did you have any idea that such a character that you started from way back when would still receive such a positive response?
I was hoping. I didn't know for a fact. I mean, I knew she was one of my crown jewels. I knew that. And we did. Wilson and I did a Stone Kickstarter omnibus of our Stone run a couple of years ago, and that did well. It didn't do as well as this, but it did well. So it gave me an inclination that, if I could judge them by kind of their original fan base and their original sales and stuff, okay, this should do better than that. I'm not sure how much better. And then last year I had my for my watercolors, I did an art book as well, and that did well too. So it's about building that. People see, because Kickstarter is such a weird place because there's so many people who screw it up. They'll get backed or whatever, and the product either never gets to you or is crappy. And I think we have an advantage with my crew that I've had for decades now, that because I am an independent creator, I know I've been working with printers for decades. I know how to put together a book. I know how to do spot varnish. I know how to do, all those things that make a quality product. And I think you have a lot of people who come into this stuff who maybe have always been an artist at Marvel or whatever, but they never had to do soup to nuts. They don't know how to do it all, and I think that kind of can limit the quality of the product that they put together at the end of the day, unless they get a lot of help from somebody.
And as someone who started collecting singles from mid-90s, for me, I started with the big two, and I didn't even bet an eyelid on independence, only until recently. And this is, I think, the best way for me to jump into a character that I've never known. And old issues that are long gone out of print, and everything is in there. It's
like binging.
Yeah.
Like binging a show. Yes. I mean, I think that's I'm a little jealous that I have kind of seen it all. And it'd be nice to read it. And there is a certain amount of rediscovering anyway, because you're like, oh wow, that's really part of that book. Okay, cool. But yeah, it's comics are such an interesting beast. They're such a unique art form, again, I was so blessed, like you were saying when you were talking about being a Marvel and DC guy, and I think that's where a lot of people start, especially when you're younger. It's Marvel,
Yeah.
DC, and then you get to a certain point where, well, they've killed Captain America again. Okay, I gotta move on to something else. I still remember, when Brian Holguin and his brother and stuff. It's like, okay, we're going to go down to Little Tokyo. We're going to look at manga. Manga that's not translated, because there wasn't any translated manga back then in the late 70s. And it was funny because you go down to Little Tokyo in LA, and all the manga was shrink wrapped too, and they didn't want you. They didn't want you opening those shrink wrap things. So we had a certain amount of money. It's like, what do you think? It was definitely judging a book by its cover. It's like, okay, I can buy 5, you can buy 3. Okay, great. And doing that. And because at a certain point, it was like you said, I was introduced through Marvel and DC for this stuff, mostly Marvel. But then you want, okay, I want something a little more elevated. I want something now a little bit more, whatever. And I remember going to the bookstore and seeing like Luther Arkwright for the first time, Brian Talbot's work. It's like, oh, you could do that with this stuff, And it's like that was one of the big, and it's such a sweet guy too, Brian. But those are the things that really kind of got me thinking, oh, okay, great. I don't have to just do costume superhero guy. I can do any story I want to do. And then you start reaching out to all these independent stuff, and that's where you find, my God, European comics. Oh my God,
Yes.
It's like I've been lucky that most of my stuff and my independent work has been published around the world. I get invited to shows in France and stuff like that. And man, the albums in France and stuff, the that's what they call their collections and albums. Stunning, just. And like manga, they're everything, and that's kind of has happened more, I think, in American comics, especially through Image in the last, let's say 15, 20 years, where there's all kinds of titles coming out, all kinds of different subject matters, all kinds of different genres and stuff, which I think is also really, really cool.
Can I ask you a question? Sorry, just because I've got no idea, so I'm going to just ask it. What on earth is a spot varnish treated cover?
So, spot varnish is basically, okay, if you look at like this piece, see the shine?
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's a spot varnish.
There you go. I always wondered what it was.
So like see the hand treatment?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh man, I have the soft cover version of that. I didn't know there was a spot varnish hardcover slipcase version. Damn it.
There is. Yeah.
You mean like one of these?
There you go.
Through you, Sharif.
That's my buddy Jay Fotis's work. Yeah.
All right. Well, before we wrap this up, we do want to give a massive shout out to our 4 lifers. These are our paid members that do contribute each and every month, and they get a few perks on the side as well. If that is something that interests you, then please click the link and sign up now. Otherwise, the best way to support Aussieverse is simply by subscribing to the channel. Now it's time also for a word from our sponsor, good old Comic Bookaroo, Australia's #1 online comic book store.
Comic Bookaroo, proud sponsors of Aussieverse. For all your comic book needs. Graphic novels, hardcovers, omnibuses, single issues. Don't forget to pre-order at Comic Bookaroo.
All right. Brian, I did want to ask you, how do you feel about Witchblade today? Because I don't know, how much involvement do you have with the actual book still today, or the character? How do you like the evolution of it?
I have none going on with it these days. But yeah, I've none. The only last time I touched her was the last medieval Spawn Witchblade I did. That was the last. That was, but it wasn't Sarah. It was it was a medieval version kid having the Witchblade. But I'm very proud though of I think she's like one of the longest running female superheroes that there is, besides Wonder Woman, I think, as far as having her own book kind of thing. So I'm very proud of that stuff. I'm very proud of the work that we did on that book. Again, that's one of those beautiful things when you go back and look at Mike Turner's first work on that stuff, where he was really doing just stunning stuff. And dear Mike, miss him a lot. He was, what's sad. There's many things sad about death. Okay, but what's really sad to me about death, especially with a creator, is I would love to see what he would have been doing now.
Yeah,
I would like, because Mike was, because he was a kickboxer before he was a comic artist. So he was an athlete and he understood training for things. And I would show him stuff before he was doing Witchblade, and he would just absorb Kia Asamiya. Great, suck that in. He'd suck in all these different art things that I would show him and stuff, and just build and build and build. And I would love to see what he would be up to today.
Yeah. Fair enough. Can you share any pivotal moments in your career that significantly shaped your work?
Well, I think one of them, I was really lucky when I was a teen, and my buddy Kirk Delbeck, who was one of the other guys who introduced me to comics, I grew up in a place called La Cañada, which was about half-hour, 20-minute drive from downtown Hollywood. Okay, and there was a bookstore called Bond Street Books in Hollywood, and this was before people gave a shit about the value of comics and old comics, right? And most of the stuff in this place was also, they used to sell like headshots of actors and movie placards, and there was a lot of that stuff there. But there was also this room that had boxes, nothing bagged and board, with almost every comic that there was.
Wow.
And you could go through this as a teen and find things, and like, I want to do a show. I keep thinking of doing a play on some of those books where it's like, you've never heard of this comic artist before. He did like 3 issues of a book, and it was stunning. And let me show you, and you could see people. Kirk and I could name inkers just by looking at a page. By the time we were 16, every inker we could tell, oh, that's Alfredo Alcala, Vinnie Coletta, oh boy, and Al Milgrom. We could do all that stuff. But I think that was a really important part. But really, the most pivotal thing was when I joined Top Cow, and because Top Cow was sharing, we were in the same office with Wildstorm, and Wills. That's where I met Wills for the first time, and it was a big open floor plan, and you had all these people who were trying to, the mantra from Mark Silvestri was, everyone's job along the way, from writer, penciler, inker, colorist, letterer, is to make the product better. Every stage of the way. Okay. And you had all these kids that were new, that were doing this. We had the new kids on the block that were just there. It was like Joe Benitez, Dave Finch, Chuck Cheris, Jeff Campbell, but then you had the great guys that were like, again, it was an open floor plan, so you could walk around. They weren't closed. There were like 2 offices that had doors. Okay, the rest of it was all open, right? And if you weren't an asshole, you could go and sit behind Scott Williams while he was inking and learn how to ink from Scott Williams.
Wow.
You could learn how to pencil from Mark Silvestri. You could learn how to pencil from Jim Lee. You could learn how to pencil from Will Spartasio, and everyone, and it was Image, so we were all competitive against each other. It's like we were totally out to try and beat one another. I still always remember a great story, because Mark leveled up on Cyberforce 5. He leveled up his art. And the way we used to have it, so his office was just down from where I was, or his area. And basically on the wall, like kind of we have him up here, and I can mention it at some point later, those new pages that I have going on my wall. Mark would put pencils, Dave Wall would come to Xerox the pencil, the pencil will then go to Scott Williams, and then eventually get swapped back up, with the stuff as the pages. And Mark finished the issue, and him and his then girlfriend at the time were going to go to Hawaii, and I was working late, on my computer, and his office was, again, eyesight just right over there, and I see Jim Lee go into Mark's area, right? I see Jim looking at the pages, and he goes, But that was the great part. It was, everyone was out, and it wasn't, because I always tell artists this too. It's like, see, there's some people who go, oh, it's not a competition. No, it's a competition, and you want your competitors to be so badass that it drives you to become better and better and better. It's like those times when I'm of my age, but I used to like watching boxing with like Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran, you had Thomas Hearns, you had these 4 guys that were just stellar, and they would always drive each other better. I'm also a tennis player, so it was like Jimmy Connors and John McEnroe and Bjorn Borg. They all kind of. That's what you want. The idea that it's art. No, you want someone who's going to inspire you and drive you crazy, and yeah.
Matt with another question here. Do you still have the original art of Green Lantern you shared the '93 San Diego Comic-Con? He's a friend who would like to see it.
I do not. I do not know where the heck it is.
All right, let's have one last look at the Kickstarter again, because this is why we are here. This is the Aria Omnibus with so many fantastic extras and stuff that just comes automatically with the basic pledge level is absolutely amazing. You get the books signed, you get them in the spot varnish, you get them with the ribbon, is the gilded edges with it as well?
Gilded edges are a potential, depending.
Okay.
As we get higher up, we'll see if that happens. We actually are right now pricing that out.
Okay.
We have to get the printer to come back with how much that would cost.
So for those joining us late or have just flicking right to the end, you got 600 pages here of every single issue of Aria in one massive, absolutely fantastic book. You can also get these awesome hollow foil art cards. Go check it out earlier where Brian was sharing those off. You get original comic art bundles as well. You get a sculpture as well, which we did show off earlier in the video as well. You can see it right there. You can also get museum prints, which look absolutely fantastic. Watercolor paintings, pencil sketch cards, although it is so much more than a sketch card. Check out the detail in those. You can also go to San Diego Comic-Con and have that tier as well. What are we talking about? Go check it out right there. And original art. Sorry, you're too late for all that stuff, but just look at it.
Well, we may be adding some more. So we got 39 more days to fill on this thing. So
another time.
Look at this claw ring, for example. If you have a partner like mine that would absolutely love that, then get that too. You have the lithophanes, which when you shine light behind it, boom, you get some magic. Man, there is just so much sculptures as well. This is incredible. Back Aria today because it is just doing gangbusters.
Yeah, we'll do some big sculpts.
Oh my God. That's a big.
Oh wow!
Absolutely amazing.
I don't want to see. I can do that stuff. That's like, I think like, oh man, shipping that is going to be a pain.
Last couple of questions we've got for you, Brian, is first and foremost, apart from the obvious with this Kickstarter, is there anything you want to share about upcoming projects or any other links or things?
We've got, again, 24. That's 24 pages plus another 10 over on that other side of a new book that won't be debuting until next year. And I can't say anything else about it. I can tell you when we're off camera, but I can't tell you right now.
We'll
But
just
yeah,
have to have you on the show.
It's based on a character that I co-created back in the 90s for somebody else, but now we're coming back to it.
Nice. Well, that's exciting. That is exciting. Brian, we can't thank you enough, man. And also,
thank you guys so much.
A massive thank you as well to our friend Chris Yates for organising this interview. We love Chris and wish him all the best as well.
Great.
We do have one final question for you, Brian. The same question that we ask every single person that comes onto the show, and about 95% of the people get the answer incorrect. So do not fret. I don't know if Chris worded you up or not,
nope.
But also, by the way, when we do end the show, there is a few seconds it looks like we've just disappeared. Please stick around so we can say a proper goodbye to you once the recording is over. But Brian, sir, if we were to turn around to you and say, what is Aussieverse? What would your answer be?
I'd say Aussieverse is fun.
Okay. That is, I'm not going to say is incorrect, or it is incorrect. Aussieverse is and always will be what, boys? For
what life?
Catch you next time. Go check the description for the link for the Aria Omnibus, or if that's too hard, just go to the Kickstarter website and type in Aria, and it will pop up straight away. Let's get this over to the next level. We will catch you next time. We have Near Mint Condition coming up on the show next week, as well as FOC Weekly every single week. Same Aussieverse time, same Aussieverse channel. We'll catch you next time. Thank you, everybody, for joining.
Thank you, guys.